Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another episode of our legendary Liu Bei campaign. We pick things up for episode 4 from turn 23 in the winter season of 194. So last episode, we made contact with Cao Cao's armies, and we kind of traded places for a little bit, but we ended up with control of Xiapi again, and their armies are stuck behind our lines, and we can definitely hunt them down in the coming turns to try to capture a few more generals. Now, before we continue with the campaign, there are a few administrative things I want to talk about. First is the schedule of this series. If you're watching in the future and the playlist is all full and you're binging the episodes, congratulations, you don't have to wait. But if you're watching as these episodes come out, this is not a daily series. Total War 3 Kingdoms have been moved to a thrice weekly or 3 times a week schedule on the channel, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, in the Eastern time slot, Eastern Standard Time in the US, at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, a new episode will come out. If you're in Asia, it will be your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so your weekends, and you get to enjoy 3 episodes a week until the completion of this series. So that's the schedule we're on, and if you're curious about the schedule of any series on the channel, I post them monthly to the community tab on YouTube, as well as in the announcement channel on my Discord. And the link to join the Discord is in the description of all the videos. Just accept the rules once you get there and you'll be added into the Discord. So with that out of the way, let's continue our campaign. And our current goal is to shift down a little bit and take control of what's technically the Xu province, which will include places like Donghai, Xiapi, Pengcheng, and Guangling. Now, historically speaking, Guangling was kind of not in our control during this period. In the winter of 194, Tao Qian technically is about to die. I think the game has it slightly earlier than historical, but let's say he's dead, and Liu Bei is taken over. We didn't get many of his characters, which is a bit sad. We only got his core family, which we fired a few, and we will fire a few more. I think we took him in after the battle just because I wanted this spear. So we'll actually just get rid of that and fire him. He's a generic. There's no real reasons to pick up a bandit character here. We have Tao Ying, simply because he has a decent background. Actually more than decent, because it's pretty much Tao Qian's background bonus of 2 extra administrators and plus 2 assignments. Super powerful, and definitely something we could use in the future. In terms of satisfaction, he has humble and modest, which basically makes sure he has no desire for higher office, as well as passive 10-point, satisfaction boost, and another 10 points in dutiful. So he has no desire for higher office, and then another minus 100% on top. So even if he picks up any sort of positive percentage in the future, he pretty much have negative 200% to work with here, which is quite interesting. Anyhow, aside from these characters, let's go fire the one that we said we will fire, just so I don't forget. And we'll just be releasing, because we don't want to drop the satisfaction of the entire faction, since we require high satisfaction to gain unity. We'll be able to utilize these positions next spring for our faction council missions. I don't have an heir yet. This is really awkward. I've been thinking about how we could approach this. I came up with 2 potential plans. One, we stay patient and wait for a historical wife, and that could be either Lady Gan, which someone told me in the TUP mod, she's called Gan Mei, or Sister Gan, and we'll try to find her. Or we can try to wait for Lady Mi, who is another concubine of ours, who was in Tao Qian's faction, but we never met her on the battlefield, so I can't even keep track of where she is, because I never seen her, so it's not a character that we know. They also have Lady Zuo here twice, because MTU has her with her full name, or the made-up name, Zuo Yuan. Here it's Lady Zuo, and Femme Fatale is definitely a better name because it caused a bunch of death. We don't see Lady Gan. We see Mi Zhu. We don't see Lady Mi. We see Mi Zhu here. Dependable administrator, decent bonus. More importantly, we see that no one has recruited him yet, so he's in someone's recruitment pool, but not grabbed yet. Sun Qian, another one of our secretaries, historically, has moved on to the bandit faction. We'll have to find an opportunity to capture him back, so he can return to the proper faction. And he would have been one of our early strategists, including Mijul here as well. Both of them are strategist class in the game, but we don't get to have one. And that's fine. I think we're going to stick to this disadvantage that Liu Bei had historically and not use siege weapons just to make things a little bit more interesting. And in terms of who we can recruit, Sun Jiao, someone pointed out, was related to one member of the Sun clan. I didn't recall. I don't think he's particularly important. And Xiahou Jie is a fictional character, so we're not interested in him either. He was written into the novel as a relative of the Xiahou clan, taking place in the Battle of Changban. And Zhang Fei roared at the Changban Bridge, and one of the officers on the wayside had his gallbladder shattered due to fear and fell off his horse and died. And that person is Xiahou Jie, and he's not real. That event is not real. And basically, he was written in there to kind of add more drama into the book and make Zhang Fei seem a bit more superhuman. And, no one's actually going to fall off their horse and die like that. That's why he's, I guess, called the disgrace general here. And we're not going to invite him into our faction. He doesn't have any items either. As we capture these places again, I feel like I don't want to overinvest in any of these places because we're going to have to lose them in the future. I might just stop selling food so I can use the food in diplomacy. And I'm probably going to get rid of this to put in our special taxation building. And that's pretty much the only building we're going to be building everywhere. Basically will cost us no money, so we can save up some money for future use, because we'll be constantly moving until we settle in the Shu region, way down the line, closer to, late 210-ish. So it'll be a while. Now let's take a look at what we can do here. We have multiple building slots because we have over 1 million. But like I said, I don't think we want to build up Langya. And Langya is actually quite interesting. I think it'll automatically become our capital once we lose Le'an over here to Yuan Shao's forces. I will probably clean up these armies and march up to meet him, just to beat him a couple times so we can peace out with him, because that's the state I wanted. I don't need to reclaim the land. He can have these. These historically, Dong is part of the Yan province, and Le'an's part of the Qing province. He should have the Qing province. The Yan province should go to Cao Cao, actually. Langya is not even a commandery. Historically, Langya is actually a princedom, much like Chen, which is over here. And the game really likes to make princedom into these giant commanderies for some reason, even though princedoms historically are very, very small. And the prince that lived in Langya was Prince Liu Rong, who's a very close friend to Cao Cao's family, Cao Cao's father in particular, Cao Song, which is why Cao Song came to live over here after he retired from his court job, and why Cao Cao was trying to get the dad to go back to him and then got killed by Tao Qian, who's nearby. So that's a family that's rather close to Cao Cao's clan. And when Cao Cao abolished all 8 princedoms that were still in existence in around 205-ish, the princedom of Langya was spared. They got to keep their princedom because the family was a close friend. Anyhow, we have pieces here that we can always just trade away in the future. And some of them, if we lose it, we lose it. And we can just basically proceed from here. Oh, right. The other plan for heir is I adopt my 2 brothers. Both of them, just to be fair. The advantage of this is we get to see their family tree, right? They have kids in the MTU mod, and we can actually see them on the family tree. And I can make Guan Yu, for example, our heir. Not because he has some really amazing trait. I mean, his bonus is not terrible, but it's not really great for faction-wide use. The armor for spear infantry will actually be useful, given that we're spamming spear militia units, but it's not a huge game changer. But it would make sense, right? If you have the 3 sworn brothers, if Liu Bei should die randomly, seeing Guan Yu take over, although not going to carry the same weight because you're not really claiming you're related to the Imperial clan, it would still make certain sense. So if we have trouble finding a wife, we might just adopt both of them. And we can also keep an eye on their kids as well that way. So that's a plan. I think we are good. We fire the ones we don't want. We grab Tong as well. We're going to use him as a collection piece. He's gonna, historically die anyway, so it's fine. And we're just gonna collect all these awesome items as well. So basically, if you're not on the battlefield, you don't need your items. Guosi as well. And for the TUP characters, the Total Unit Pack mod, their armors are not part of the kit. It's not bounded. So they're not named like Guosi's armor. So I can actually just remove these and, give it to whoever I want. Not the case with, the traditional game characters or MTU characters. She has this just to maintain happiness. I'm fine with that. Zhao Yun can keep his stuff because, he's historically ours. Same as Jian Yong. Zhang Lu. Oh, he's the administrator right now, so I think he can keep his robe. He's giving us quite a bit of food bonus. Zhou Tai's sword is technically not his, but he's also currently on the battlefield for us. We might take him off in the future, but I think we'll let him keep this for now. I don't think it's his because the set bonus doesn't make sense for it to be his. Natural's courage, right? Stuart courage. I don't know who this is designed for, but... Oh, another thing. We also upgraded the TUP mod. I'm using the version 2 of the English translation, so a lot more texts are translated. And it seems like wielded by Kong Zhou during the Spring-Autumn period, exchanged many times during the Warring State period. Dark sword known as Cheng Yin, or Cheng Yin, probably. Shang Dynasty. That's a long time. I mean, when you hear legends like this, there's a big problem. Shang Dynasty didn't have the technology to make swords like these. You might get a few, bronze swords, and that was like the pinnacle of the technology during the time. And they kept okay, but they're not going to be as hard as, iron swords or steel swords down the line. This doesn't look like a bronze sword to me, so that part of the tale just feels really out of place. Anyhow, nitpicking here. Diplomacy-wise, we want to end the war with these guys, but it might be a bit difficult to do so. Gong Sun Zan wants to sign a non-aggression pact. We can do that. We are historically very friendly with our fellow disciple. I mean, we technically worked under him for a period as well, but that was when we were back in Pingyuan. Now we're the governor of the Xu province after Tao Qian's death. Xu Zhoumu, Liu Bei. Okay, I think that's all we can really do. Just add a little bit of income there, and I think we can move on to next turn. And Yuan Shao is taking the attack. Now, he didn't flip, which is interesting. I feel like we didn't have enough points to get him to trigger the flip. So this battle was pretty much hopeless, and we'll let him just win and move our capital because he was cutting off our trade and reducing our income by quite a bit. And he lost a decent amount of men. The spy can stay under deep cover until we need him. Oh? Kong Rong is breaking a treaty with us. Well, historically he gets wiped. I hope it happens to him this time. Alright, we lost our capital. Huang Shao's faction got wiped. I think Han Fu actually wiped him out. Anyhow, we got schemed again. Minus 50%. Oh, that is going to hurt for peace deals. Faction Council is ready. A lot of new characters, but not the wives we're looking for. Feather Fan. Let's take a look at this. We can cause a scandal and perhaps get a turncoat. Reroll a personality. Oh, okay. So if we were just min-maxing this, if we reroll her cruel or arrogant, we could definitely marry her because she is a commander type. But obviously that would be very ahistorical, so we're not going to do that. A set item would be great. Peasantry income would be great, but I prefer getting items. Maybe it's a gold one. I don't know how I feel about this, but I feel like we can create a historical situation where I grab Liu Bu, take him in, make him the administrator of Xiapi, then grant him independence, break our relationship, go to war with him, and recreate the historical backstab that happened. Basically, we're putting a lot of extra work in to create the historical scenario that we would need. That means I can't keep this spy here for that much longer. Recently demoted. Interesting, but he's not willing to be discredited. See, now the question is, do I really want to keep him here because he's occupying a slot, obviously. Well, if they keep attacking down, we would have a chance to flip him. Now, as for these two armies, we can only catch up to Lady Bian and Yang Chou. I think, actually, maybe we can hit him too. The main issue is I had Liu Bei lead, which means we lost the reach bonus, but this is still reachable, and they're on march. Liu Bei has the best capture chance, so we'll take this. She is... oh dear. We gotta make sure we don't kill her. This might be trickier than I thought. Definitely no dueling. Let her run off. And we get the 69% capture chance. That's probably what we're gonna do. It does create this last wound situation, right? We get 40% extra rate of capture for her that we otherwise wouldn't get. But we probably have to fight this manually to carefully not kill her. So let's do that. Alrighty, rainy day. The generals are actually pretty unhealthy. I think we delegated. So we'll let them take a break and heal. They don't have much. They might not even march towards us because we don't really have a siege weapon to track them over. And they have a tower as well. Is she unbreakable? Good, she's not. Or else we'll have a real problem on our hand. I mean, we can still help, I guess. The militias are just there to look like we have a big army. Which is essentially what militias were used for, historically speaking. Like, you're not really depending on... They burned their own oil again. They have some Qingzhou units or some unit with the ability to burn their own surroundings, like towns and stuff, when they're idle. It's okay. Melee calves are great at tanking arrows, and we'll capture this. Make the way for our units back here. They're just starting a forest fire in the rain. Decline. We're trying to save you, lady. They have one anti-range unit, but there's only 17 of them, and we avoided the traps over here. Maybe go help a little bit so the cavalry don't take too much damage. As long as we don't whack her, it's all good. And we'll just let Army Loss take care of the rest. He should be unbreakable before his death. Just giving our units unbreakable as well. We'll ignore the Qingzhou unit when he's unbreakable. Really no point to actually fight them here. And we'll try to maybe kill him. Okay, let him route. And let him route. There we go. She should route to Army Loss, I believe. Gosh, he's persistent. Zhang Fei whacked him a couple times. Zhang Fei's probably on foot. Did he get knocked down by the Qingzhou spear? That just means he dies faster. She has too much morale. We're gonna let the cavalry hit her. General might do too much damage all at once, given that we have a better weapon than... It's dipping. 51. I think if we just leave her alone... No, it's just damage sustained. There's no army loss yet. Charging 15 plus. Melee contact. You can see all the different modifiers. Currently losing. If we shoot her with some arrows, there'll be another effect if we get some fire around her. Alright, that's good enough. Back off, back off. Shoot her with a little bit of arrow. And she shrugged off the melee bonus and everything. Oh, she has that ability. Okay, never mind. Wait, because she has that ability, she's unbreakable for 20 seconds. Okay, we leave her alone. She's getting free hits on us. Okay. There we go. Cao Cao, we worked very hard to keep your wife alive. Let's see if we can capture her. Yes. Okay, so we did get to capture her. We also get to keep her. Lady Bian. Now, did we get her? Yes, symbol of frugality. The frugal empress. A black lacquered object instead of gold, the symbol of one's frugality. Increased trade influence, construction time would make a great wife, but we're going to stick to our historical theme. We're not here to abuse any of the TUP items, even though they are really, really good. 5 points of satisfaction, we could definitely use that. Right, there's also things like Leader of Refugees to unlock unique units. So technically, I think Liu Bei could use this, since we did inherit Tao Qian's land. So his unique unit and replenishment and the Leader of Refugees would be something that makes sense for Liu Bei. Tiger and Leopard, cavalry commander would not make sense. I think we'll actually equip that instead of the merchant, which makes less historical sense, really. It's not like Liu Bei was ever known as a businessman. Alright, so we did pick up a new character. Speaking of new characters, we should look at who we have here. We have a bandit lady, generic bandit, generic strategist. When you're a generic and we're playing with TUP mod, you know you're not important. Oh, Huang Shu, Huang Zu's son, great warrior, question mark. Oh, that's a burn. He's not particularly bad, historically speaking. Huang Zu's entire clan are very famous in the Jin province. Now, Huang Zu himself didn't really inherit the clan's great tradition of being educated scholars, but turned out to be more of a brute. But he made himself an excellent general because of that, and he was entrusted with many of the key defensive positions in the Jin province by Liu Bei and the likes. And his son was often in battle with the dad. There's records of him fighting against Sun Ce. They ended up losing the position, but against Sun Ce, you can't really blame him. So I don't think he deserves this question mark here. I mean, great warrior maybe is a little bit too much, but still. The question mark just makes him seem so weak. Alright, nothing here. Wen Qin, 42. Wen Qin. I'm trying to think who he is. Han Empire. Could be one of the... The scholars and scribe continue to labor dutiful in this translation. I don't think his name doesn't ring a particular bell. I mean, the Wen clan did eventually produce quite a few capable generals, but in the later periods of the Three Kingdoms, he might be related to them, but I don't know that for sure. No, unsurprisingly, most of the female-generated characters are generic and random. 是会, 是些 son. How did he end up leaving his father? That's strange. He left, but he wasn't dissatisfied, and he's not a spy either. Chen Rong, Liu Bei. These two names don't really ring a bell together. Li Chao, who's a burned officer, but once again, Cao Cao sent him to most likely spy on us, so we're not going to fall for that. So we're probably not going to recruit anyone unless they have like a gold item from TUP. Just a bronze sword for Huang Shi over here. Stone Pig, Stone Confucius. Nope. So no one really. I ran out of movement. I'm gonna make Zhang Fei or Guan Yu lead because they also give me 5% additional replenishment plus the campaign movement. We could use both right now. We're gonna pick a reform. Now we went this way, and I think we should continue going this way because our tax building just makes so much sense for us, especially since we're migrating. Alright, and we're saving money everywhere else. Picked up a new character, which costs money. Buildings going, buildings going, buildings going. Alright, pretty happy with everything. Let's continue. Alright, Gongsun signs a peace deal with Han Fu. So someone tried to drop the satisfaction of Guan Yu by 30 points for 21 turns. But of course, my dear brother would not betray me, even with 30-point hit. He's still decently well. Zhao Yun leveled up. How? Assignment? Yes, he's doing an assignment right now. I'm gonna just pick up Elemental Vigor, or work towards it. We're not gonna let Guojia get away. There's Yellow Turban Rebel Group. Maybe we can recover it if they lose to that, but it doesn't seem likely. We're gonna go recover Donghai and give Yuan Shao more time to take more of my land. This army, I feel like we can disband them. They're on the field mainly for satisfaction reasons, and none of them are historically ours, so we'll try to stick to that rule, not give them a full army. Oh, maybe we shouldn't change generals, then we might not be able to reach him. It'd be a small difference in terms of capture rate. Zhang Fei would have 14%. Liu Bei would have 6%. That's okay. Good thing we can still reach. Oh, the icon display. Oh, good. Ooh, that scared me for a second. All right, percentage is not high. I mean, it's the same as what Lady Bian was actually. Lady Bian had the last wound, so we got 40% there. We would love to capture either one, both, any of them. I don't know if we actually need to fight this. They're both strategists, there'll be no dueling. They're both extremely healthy. I think we'll save us some time and just delegate this one. And Guojia is ours as well. So he was obviously one of Cao Cao's favorite strategists. Dies in the early stages of 207 due to illness. It's not a natural illness. I think if you consider what happened, it was part of the cost of the war. Right around 207, Cao Cao finally united the north, wiped out the remnants of Yuan Shao's faction. All the sons died, and at that time he was turning his attention south towards Liu Bei and Sun Quan. But before he could go there, he wanted to take care of the nomadic threats that was still around. So he marched a very long campaign north to a place called the White Wolf Mountains, and his main force met the Wuhuan force near the mountain paths on this mountain. And neither side knew the other army was there. So they kind of, are traveling this mountain roads, and at basically a bend, they turn and they turn to each other. And both sides don't know what to do because, they're not expecting to fight there. And at that moment, Zhang Liao came out and suggested he will lead a charge at the enemy. And Cao Cao allowed him to do so. Zhang Liao is very astute commander, also very brave, led the charge of the cavalry unit into the Wuhan forces, who was also contemplating what to do. And usually in these situations, the person who makes the first move has the advantage, especially if you're bravely charging your cavalry into them on a mountain path. And it was a crushing defeat for the Wuhuan people. And after that fight, pretty much most of the nomadic resistances in the north kind of ceased. And the Xiongnu tribe also kind of, at this period, Xiongnu was very, very weak. They accepted Cao Cao as their new overlord, essentially. Previously, they accepted Yuan Shao as their overlord. Yuan Shao gave them seals, gave them titles, and Cao Cao did the same. And Cao Cao divided the Xiongnu tribe into 5 smaller tribes to be easier to manage. And pretty much during the reign of the Kingdom of Wei, there were no nomadic issues in the north. Everyone was pretty content, especially since Cao Cao moved his personal residence to Ye, so very close to the north. By personal residence, I also mean that every time the Kingdom of Wei mobilized for big campaigns, the army came out of Ye, even though the emperor was kept in Xuchang, which is right around here. Cao Cao didn't want to live in the same place as the emperor because he would have to basically, kneel, obey the rules, and observe the customs. And he definitely didn't treat the emperor, as a respected emperor. It was his puppet. So he kept the imperial court here in Xuchang, gave himself the Duke of Wei title because commandery name is Wei. And he made his home in Ye after he took out Yuan Shao. But anyways, after that successful campaign, it was great, but they had to march back. And around that time in the north, it was a massive drought. There was just no water. And the troop marched all the way back without water and scarce food because of the drought. So they had to dig for wells all the time. They had to slaughter their war horses for food and substance. And that's when Guojia fell ill, and Guojia never made it back. He died on the trip. So I would say he's pretty much a casualty of war. And after that point, Cao Cao went on to do his Zhibi campaign, failed, and had that episode in the novel where he lamented that if he still had Guojia, he would not have failed. And regardless of whether that's true or not, Guojia was definitely someone he definitely trusted and missed. We have him now, so we will keep him. And he has the set Talent from the Heavens, Guerrilla Deployment, Immune from Fear and Terror. We're going to hold on to the item for him for now. We'll eventually return all these to their proper owners just to take a look at all the sets. But right now we're just going to hold on to them for them. Alright, I think we did everything. Let's continue here. Alright, I'm not interested in Yang Chou over here. Zhou Yu, but not the one that worked for Sun Ce. A bit shocking in the name. There are others with the name, so it's not, weird. Liu Gui. Also someone I'm not quite familiar with. A lot of people got art, I have to say that. Whether you're significant or not. Alright, no one with any particular good trait here. Yuan Shao and Kong Rong, I don't think they're at war with each other. He's not at war with anyone except for Yellow Turbans, sure. And Yuan Shao's not moving, which makes my spy situation a bit awkward. Only the youngest son. I might actually just disown him here. Or extract him here. Maybe disown's a little too much. Because we are still extremely interested in him. He has his new art. A new skill. Flood enemy. Wait, flood enemy? When did Xu You give this plan? Right, we're thinking Battle Guandu, he turned and gave the position of Wu Chao to Cao Cao. Yeah, interesting when this came about. but the debuff is quite nice. All sorts of, loss of stats across the board. Only 20-second duration though. But it would be kind of shame to not use him, but I do want to push the Liu Bei storyline, so let's do it. It'll take him a few turns to come back. And then we can look for Liu Bei. Guo Si leveled up. Dong Pei Shan leveled up as well. We'll gear everyone towards battle focus here. We're gonna go recover Donghai. We don't really care about the rest. Once again, I should have moved the commanding position so that we get more heal and also more movement, but we already messed that up. I'm okay with losing any piece of land, so there's no worries here to defend anywhere. And if anyone capture them, they get a very nice tax building for their efforts. And that's really all our expenditures, as we'll continue to save up money. So let's continue. Cao and Zhao Yun's becoming best friends. Good for them. Oh, Yu Minxiang, rebellious woman. Jia Long's wife. I mean, who in history would even record Jia Long's wife? I mean, because Jia Long rebelled against Liu Yan, so I guess his wife would become the rebellious woman. She got the fertile trait too. As much as we could use a wife, and it looks like she's single now. It still feels weird. And she could be spying for the Han. I don't think the Han Empire can spy, but I'm not sure there. Doufu comes from a very prestigious clan, the Dou clan. Seems like he's wearing either a really good armor, or this is just very custom art that's very close to the armor style of the game. Zhao Lei, Shi Xie's faction. Somehow my first instinct when I hear Zhao Lei is Yuan Shu's faction. But another very, very minor character. It's just the artwork. So no unique armor or items on any of them. And we'll continue to pass as we're trying to reach Donghai here. Got Discourse of the State. Ooh, 5% campaign movement range. That's good. And we got nothing. Except Liu Bei, perhaps? Ah, no. So Liu Bei is not willing to turn yet, even with the -30. It's still in effect. We used it just this spring. And there's nothing we can do about that. We just have to patiently wait. Anyhow, let's continue here. Willing to give us a peace if we become their vassal, and they're willing to pay us for that. Can we just have the peace? No. Okay, then no. Alright, Liu Chong pieced out though. Wow, so many characters with art. Chue Xuan's back again. So a new army from Yuan Shao coming in to take our lumberyard instead of the iron mine. He's trying to go back to Cao Cao. Where is Cao Cao's main army? I'm so confused. Alright, let's take a look at these. Zhou Fang, desperate actor. 2 spies. Zhou Fang? I mean, if you are spy-based, like the novel story that comes to mind would be during the Battle of Chibi. Hua Yan, talent oversold. Interesting faction-wide bonuses, though. With the way he's dressed and the way the name is squished together, I'm guessing this might be a more nomadic culture person. That's just a generic bandit background. Gao Lan, yep, champion of Hebei. So, Yuan Shao's general historically, but somehow left here in the Han Empire and came to us first. Wow, he got a unique skill. I mean, I don't see... Wow, he has multiple unique skills. I don't see a problem with this. I mean, technically, there were these so-called 4 pillars of Hebei. Yan'an Wenchuo, Zhang He, Gao Lan. He is usually named together with Zhang He all the time. But after he and Zhang He both surrendered to Cao Cao, he kind of faded away from history. Like, there's no more recordings of him. But, you know, you got the cool title of 4 pillars of Hebei going on. So if you give him a background and some important stuff, I can see that. Sun Guan. Like, very young at this period. Han Empire. But when you see Sun, you kind of want to think someone from the Sun Quan branch. But none of the important people. Like the little distant relative here, Sun Ben, maybe? But I don't see him in the game. He was in Tao Qian's faction, declared himself emperor. This is Han Sui's son, rookie of Xiliang, 10% upkeep. This might be a spy, actually. Leader of Crows, Wang Ji. Why is the name pushed together like this? I mean, the skill tree looks very different, like 8 princes different. This looks like an 8 princes character, right? Heavy cataphract, whiplash. The way the tree is set up, it's very 8 princes like. Barbarian. Unless he's one of the nomadic tribal leaders during the... I mean, I don't think he's anyone from the Three Kingdoms period. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. But this is a very, very different skill tree. Wuhuan short spear. Okay, so part of the Wuhuan tribe. Definitely didn't feel Han at all. So they probably made some Wuhuan characters here. I am not familiar with any of the Wuhuan generals. They're not, you know, historically that relevant. That battle with Zhang Liao, pretty much their only fight, aside from being auxiliary units in the period before with Yuan Shao's group. But no one really named or anyone super significant here. Interesting. I don't think we'll be going for him. Xiliang Lance, Xiliang Warhorse. These I just don't trust because it feels like they're spies. I don't want them to steal any of the gold items that we have. So we're not even going to go do the... Oh. Aren't you interesting? We can always just release you after recruiting you. Only costs us 1,000. Mongol Wild Horse. So that, yeah, the name didn't feel right. And the look... He's also, they probably put like a northern nomad, you know, sort of attachment into the TUP mod. Very interesting. I mean, technically we can grab all these silver items too if we want. These are pair of silver items on both of them. Only costs us 1,000 to grab, and then firing doesn't actually make them hate us. There's even a chance they'll come back to us in the future. It's always nice to collect these new items when we use a mod like this. But very cool thing they did with the skill tree too. There is a set here with a gilded mountain carving blade. We'll try to look for that. Feel free to come back in the future when you're not a spy or a risk to become a spy. And we'll just be grabbing this land. Attack. I don't have that much unity to use. We can't move up close enough. She leveled up. We'll be going for Flaming Shot. Any changes here? Nope. Keep leveling that up. And that's pretty much our economy. I don't know if that force can actually beat the garrison. I mean, if I try to micro, maybe I can win that, even without looping. Yuan Shao is going after don't have it. Wait, did he switch strategists? He did. He changed his Jialong. I mean, we extracted the spy, so I mean, he was definitely going to swap or add someone new, but just interesting he added Jialong here. I almost want to give this a fight, but unless I use a lot of towers, the generals are not going to die, so we're just going to let them have it. Liang's not part of the Sui province anyways. It's an independent princedom. Cao Cao's on the map. Yeah, got a little excited there as Cao Cao showed up. Yuan Shu's arrogance knows no bound. 195 to 197 period. This is where Yuan Shu is starting to try to declare himself as emperor, and we go to war with him normal. Liu Huimin, Liu Dai's daughter. It's a very cute art. Seeker of Peace. I don't know if that's a very accurate claim there. I mean, Liu Dai's daughter pretty much ended up, he took Cao Ren's bow. I want to think that Liu Dai's daughter ended up marrying into either Yuan Shao's family or Gong Sun Zan's family. Because I know Liu Dai did marriages with both of their families. I don't know which combination of his son or daughter went to which, but that's as much as we know. We take this. We'll just delegate it. And even though at this period it's Lu Bu who should be sneak attacking Xiapi, letting Cao Cao do it just cuts out the part where Cao Cao destroys Lu Bu. And letting Yuan Shao control the Qing province also makes sense. So as we roleplay, we'll lose more and more land. And after losing the land, okay, we don't need any more of that. I feel like we can go back to securing a few more trade for ourselves. Or we can actually get the school one before we lose the school. Right? The school's right here. If we lose that, we don't get to keep the bonuses. Donghai is our capital. And we could use a few assignments here. Let's see what we want to do. I'm not sure who I want to level up. That's the thing. It's going to be hard to maintain satisfaction once we lose that. Maybe I don't want people to level up just yet. I'm not going to upgrade this because Cao Cao's on the doorsteps. We'll make a stand at Donghai, because after losing Xiapi to Lu Bu, Liu Bei ran to Donghai, and this is where the Mi clan decided to lend a hand to Liu Bei and let the sister become his concubine, paid to rebuild his army, and which is why we're carrying the Mi family dowry, even though Lady Mi is nowhere to be seen. Really curious where she is. It's spring again. Langya with a bonus. Yuan Shao's army with minus replenishment. Devastate Yuan Shao's city. Or make Dongmen lose food. Ah, this is really bad. And maybe if you lose food, the reserve drops. Maybe we can cause some satisfaction issues. Maybe we can get people that way. This is not going to mean much for us. So I think we actually go for this one. And mess with his army a little bit. Alright, we're gonna be fine. Healing up. His army is decent. Oh, a juggernaut. We can beat this. We can also keep going south for a little bit. Like our path west will actually be through this part. It's not super historical because we're supposed to end up in Runan for a little bit during the Battle of Guandu, so around 200. And we'll try to get there through the High Empire land and find Yuanshu somewhere over here, hopefully. But I think Heyi is over here right now. Regardless, we'll hang on over here for as long as we can. Let's continue. Cao Cao takes Xiapi. This is where Liu Bei takes it and Liu Bei loses his wife and daughters. He wants a non-aggression pact. We don't want it with you. You have a golden statue that I kind of want. Oh, and then he decides to give us plus 50 relationship. Guan Yu gets hit again, but I think it's just stacked, as in he will get 40 something turns of bad, recent event. It just probably will never go away, but it's not going to stack to 60. Ooh, our army gets hit with minus 5% replenishment. That's no fun. We get a good omen, plus an extra bit of morale. And this is the fun part, where we get so many characters with art. Ma Zhong, Patient General, High Empire. So all these High Empire generals I'm just going to ignore for now. But reinforcement range increase, interesting. Chen Tai, minus 5% enemy campaign movement, plus 3 morale when defending. Wait, Chen Tai is really young. Yes, okay. Chen Tai, I believe he's the one who defended Chencang way down in the future. Does that mean I can get some of the later generation one to spawn now? I guess that's why they're entering the pool. Does he have even any previous? Oh, well, I guess they were all part of the High Empire. Wei Feng. She's not actually here. Soldier, father of Tun Tian. So it's him and Han Hao who kind of pushed the implementation of Tun Tian under the Kingdom of Wei. I mean, why don't you go work for Cao Cao? 2 separate High Empire with a 4-year break in the middle. It's like you pick up a resume like that, you're just like, what happened in those 4 years? Did you go to college? Wang Tao, infamous heroine. I'm trying to think, is she like Wang Yi, but that's clearly not the name. She's not there. Wei Huang, Royal Rebel, worked for Cao Cao for a strange amount of period. Feels like he got sent out to be a spy, didn't work, came back, got sent out to be a spy again, and we're gonna ignore him again. Yuan Chong. Wow, the amount of High Empire characters that, I mean, TUP with the art is just overwhelming sometimes. Zhang Min, he went south to Shixian, and he didn't stay there. Okay. I actually think Zhang Min ended up working for us way down the line. Oh, actually, it's either us or Sun Quan. It's hard to remember all the scholars that went to the Jiao province and then later out got summoned to one of the 3 kingdoms. But he would be one of such character who had that career trajectory. Yu Zhujie. I mean, from the looks, it feels like a bandit character, but it's not. And 3 character names are super odd in this period. It's usually 2 character names. Guo Youzhi, faithful staff. Cao Shang's back. Goodwill gentleman. We fired him, but if we fire them, there's a good chance they can come back eventually. So a bandit character here. Any of you carry any good stuff with you? So, ooh. Feels like we have to fire you and find out what you are all about. Soldier as well. And both of them are not spies, so we can definitely keep for a little bit. What is the bonus on the Mongol horse? I'm curious now. 97 speed, 1.5 math. Not that good, actually. Ancient treasure. -1 mustering, -10% retinue upkeep. Sterling silver armor. Different set, it turns out. Who did you steal the sword from? 10 armor. Great. Now we get 2 different sets. We gotta wait to collect the others too. I'm gonna disarm you as well. Who stole your other set piece? Oh, okay, for farming. Did you work for Cao Cao? No, Han Empire. Oh god, who has it now? We'll look for it. It gives peasantry income, and with this set, additional food and additional peasantry income, and whatever the bonus the Ho has as well. Alright, a bunch more characters draining our treasury as we continue to lose land. We're gonna go make a stand. We're gonna go make a stand at Donghai. We're gonna try to defend against both Yuan Shao and Cao Cao's forces. We'll also take a look at Spy, see if we can... No more turncoats. Great. Let's continue. And we're losing the other piece of Sapi as well, but he split his army. What happened to Liu Huimin? Koron wants the herdsman. Reject. I wonder if we still have enough food. I guess we have Donglai's food. Because we're losing all the food places. Or we're losing a bunch of them. Okay, we still have 12. That's good news. We got schemed again. So make up your mind. Do you want people to like us or do you want people to hate us? -50, +50, -50. Alright, got nothing going on here. I don't know why he switched the army setup here. Right, so this is our current situation. I think we're going to end the episode here. We'll go move into Donghai and defend it as our last piece of land here in the Shui province. We'll use this as, you know, Liu Bu's backstab. Kind of wanted to push for the potential to get him as a turncoat, set him up as an administrator, but it seems like the game doesn't want us to do that, and that's okay. We'll play out the history as much as we can. You know, the AI is not always going to work with us. Hopefully we can beat Cao Cao back, retake Sapi, which would be historical. Sapi is where Liu Bu dies, and then we steal it from Cao Cao, which is what we will do. And then Cao Cao will send another force and it will be a war again, and then we can escape after losing on that run. That will be kind of our path toward the Jin province. We'll go towards Runan. Technically, Liu Bei escaped north after losing Guan Yu at the start of the sort of Fates Divided DLC. And after spending some time with Yuan Shao sends him down to Runan, and we try to attack Cao Cao from behind, and then we escape to join Liu Bei over here. I could potentially even offer Liu Bei a cooperation once we meet him. We haven't met his faction, so I can become his vassal, for example, on purpose. We will keep no heir, and that would be actually an advantage, because with faction council now being a thing, your liege can take your heir in the event from faction council. We don't want that. So since we have no heir, he can't take anyone from that. So we don't have to lose any character to him, and we can kind of roleplay as his vassal for a little bit, maybe until his death. Maybe we can even potentially end up triggering this, because I think the conditions, like he has to die, you have to have less than 10 land, and you could potentially get this to work, at least from the AI side. On our side, we obviously have to maintain a good relationship with him. I doubt the vassal can confederate the liege, but we can play it out similarly. We don't have to take over all his land, because Liu Bei ends up losing the land as well and then runs farther south before going to Shu. So we'll just continue to be on our run, basically. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we'll continue next time as we will do some battle with Liu Bei and Yuan Shao's forces. Until then, bye!